What's going on, guys? Dan back here with the Regular Guy Garage. So I'm going and replacing all of the what are these things? Rocker arms on the 7.3 Godzilla. And if you didn't see the last video, what I was dealing with was the rocker arms that came on the newer engines. They're a stamped steel, whereas 20 through 22 they had a cast construction, which is much sturdier, and it's honestly, they almost look exactly like LS rocker arms, or at least they're designed like that. But so here is the 20 through 22. And like I said, I didn't get any crazy design. This is just what came on those engines, as opposed to the rocker arm. So as opposed to the rocker arm that came off, so a stamped steel, doesn't look very sturdy, at least not the, you know, the part that actually pushes down on the valve stem. This, you know, pivoting portion is pretty beefy, honestly. But yeah, I just didn't feel comfortable about that. So this new, or the old design, really, the what's old is new again. This is much sturdier, and you can feel them right away. Like, these are just way sturdier. And this is actually considered an upgrade for this engine, but definitely the most cost-effective route. These were like 170 bucks. All right, so I've got the motor all set up and ready. I'm actually gonna put the bell housing on first before I drop it in the car. What I did was I was test fitting everything before I put it in the car, because I figured I would fight with it up here or out here as opposed to underneath this thing. So it was a pretty tight fit. I know they typically say don't suck the transmission on with the bolts, but I was able to like get it slowly in and then it would stop. And so I disassembled everything, and really what it is this bell housing was super tight on the dowels. And then it was also really tight around this collar right here. So I'm just gonna make sure I get a really good cleaning around that. Same thing around the dowels. And then it kind of scored a couple spots just right here. I'll just get a file and just kind of smooth them out a little bit. And we should go on nice and clean. But once it actually went on, everything was free and smooth, and it should all work fine. So for those who are curious, I don't know if I mentioned everything I have here, but this is a Lakewood bell housing that's made for Godzilla swap with a TKX. Came with that engine plate or back plate or whatever. This is a flywheel for a Coyote. I think it's the Ram flywheel. And then this is a McLeod Extreme Street clutch. And I believe it's an 11-inch clutch, and I think this is like for mod motor plus Coyote. So a little bit of a hodgepodge Frankenstein type thing for this Godzilla. You know, you got some Coyote parts, some mod motor parts, all to get the TKX to still work. Oh, and then this, I had to put a pretty good amount of shims on this, and then a couple washers behind the actual rod. But I did get my spacing right with this. I had to actually buy another pack because I was like 100,000 short. So I was kind of nervous about it, but I checked, rechecked, measured everything, and even on the test fit, everything fits well. But the TKX with the Lakewood bell housing and this clutch and flywheel, it does work. You'll just need to get an extra pack of these conical shims, and I think it really only took like one extra black one and then one extra gold one for me to get it. And I had to kind of go back and forth just to get it right, but it wasn't much, but I wanted to make sure I had it perfect. Anyway, I need to straighten up this disaster before I try and put this engine in the car, but that's our next move. I'll try and video that. It should go together fairly easily, hopefully. Famous last words right there, so let's see. All right, guys, so as you can see, I'm putting the engine in with the hood still on. I took the old one out while the hood was on. A little bit tighter going in because the Godzilla is much larger. I did get kind of nervous because between the oil pan and the bell housing, it was very, very close and touching in a few spots, but just a couple adjustments here and there, and I got it to slide right in. Fits pretty good. One thing that I did notice is on the, well, one, I kind of dinged up this line right here. I'm gonna try and file it and then see if I can still use it. As long as I can get a good O-ring seal on that, we should be good. But then also, I got a straight fitting on this for my PCV system. I'm gonna have to switch that to a 90. I did a straight fitting because I wanted to be able to get a wrench on it and go this way, but I'll just have to put a 90 on that. I do have the motor kind of pulled forward a little with a jack, so it will, or it should actually sit back this way just a little bit. But yeah, I'm just gonna switch that off to a 90 and then we should be good there. But other than that, everything fits. I thought it was gonna be a lot tighter of a fit, but there is a pretty good amount of room, especially with this K-member. I do still have to switch out the coils. I was kind of, as I was putting it in, not too sure if I was going to be able to get that rear coil off, but we shouldn't have any issues there. And then down here at the oil pan, let me just go under. So down here, the oil pan, plenty of clearance for the power steering rack, and then my welding job there. Just enough clearance. A little bit of rubbage when I was going in, but yeah, almost the ideal amount of clearance between the pan and the bar that I welded. So, but overall, not too terrible of a job. You know, I had to kind of prop. I left the hood on, so everyone that kind of yanks the hood off, you know, I did this whole thing with the hood on it. I just kind of, you know, use the prop rod and go down a couple holes, and you know, little by little, as you guys saw in the time lapse, you just slowly but steady, you just keep working at it and get it in. But plenty of clearance. Like I said, I just need to switch that out. With the headers too, I will have to trim this bracket, really just kind of at the front, just because it kind of nicks this right here. I was going to do the SN95 sway bar adapter. At the end of the day, you know, if I just don't run one, I don't run one if I just cut it off. But I've seen plenty of guys just kind of knock maybe 1/8 to 1/4 inch, probably about an 1/8 inch off this. And then this side, I mean, there's room for days. So we'll cross that bridge when I get there. And at the end of the day, I mean, if I don't run one, I don't run one. This is just kind of a fun weekend, you know, car. I'm not doing anything wild like racing or anything like that. And I just want it to sound cool and be able to kind of drive around, and especially in the summertime with the AC. So that, whatever that part is, I'm kind of gassed right now, but if I have to change that, I don't want to pull the dash out, but if I have to, I have to. All right, so I got the whole front accessory on, belt on, and I got a lot of the wiring run and hooked up. One thing I did notice is, and I was trying to figure out what they were, and actually had to do some research. This engine didn't come with capacitors, but there's a connection for them in the harness. I've read that you can run them without them, but I'm going to do some digging and see if these engines actually came with them. If they did, I'll just go ahead and get a couple and hook them up. I just can't seem to find them for these engines on the internet at all. But if anything, I know the Coyote has them. I was actually going to call Holly's tech line on Monday and then just kind of ask them, like, hey, do I have to run these things? Even though, like, you know, the internet, and everything's true on the internet, right, says you don't have to. But outside of that, just kind of went through, started running. I have like a whole harness that I'm not going to be using, which is throttle position sensor, IAC. There's a couple other things in here. What is this? 4-pin IAC, 2-pin IAC, TPS, because I have the drive-by-wire harness. I still need to get a throttle body. And then I do need to switch out the coils. These are the 3-wire. They're technically smart coils, but the Holley Terminator has the dumb coil set up. I did read they do have a harness for the smart coils, but I don't feel like yanking this whole thing out or spending $500. Which it'll probably cost me about half of that to get some coils. I'm going to look on eBay and see if there's a used set and maybe grab those, because they are not cheap. But really flying together now. I'm trying to work out the fuel system setup, and I think I am just going to run this for now. What I did was I ran the other fuel hose that was on the car. It basically ran across to the engine, the fuel rails, And what I did was I ran it inside the fender well, and then I had an old bulkhead fitting. So I ran that hose, which is right there, to here. And then I'll basically jump from here to the fuel pressure regulator. Then the fuel pressure regulator will have one line going to over here to the fuel rails. And then from there, the return line will go back to the tank. And then I did get a cheap-ish catch can, and then there's my little PCV valve. So I'm probably gonna bolt this up right here. And then in between that, in this area, I have a little plate that goes over this. This hole is not the prettiest thing in the world. But this, I'm probably gonna put the air filter, run it out here into the fender well. I should have enough room. And then that should take care of that. But really clean and quick and easy setup. I mean, this stuff isn't cheap, but I mean, just to throw it on and, you know, basically I put the engine in and put all this stuff on in a half a day, not even. So, got the Hydro Boost lines all, you know, loosely put in to make sure everything fits. I do have to run the return line, and then there's a T-fitting, because you will actually have the return line from the cooler as well as from the actual Hydro Boost itself teeing into that return line. The only wire I'm not really too happy with is this, the cam the cam sensor wire. It's pretty close to the belt. I mean, you got some room, but it just, that kind of makes me nervous. I've got it pulled fairly taut, so I don't think it's gonna really work its way loose, but I just don't, that kind of makes me a little bit nervous. But what I will say is run all the wiring first and then put this stuff on, because I got this kind of wire loom right here runs between the AC bracket and the engine. There's enough room. It's not pinched or anything, but it's very tight. So if you're doing this, I definitely recommend that. Still need to get a set of long tube headers for it. I'm hoping I got enough room. If not, I'm going to learn this lesson the hard way. I think at least, well, I know I'll have to take the steering shaft off, which is just put up there loosely anyway. But I'm hoping I have enough room to slide those in from the bottom. But yeah, there it is. I mean, it's pretty wild looking at this thing in here. It takes up a lot of room, but I thought it was going to be, like I said, a lot more crammed in here, but it's really not. There's a pretty good amount of room. And granted, the headers aren't on yet, but plenty of room in there. All right, so let's kind of show you what I'm working with here. It looks like an absolute mess, mostly because I have the wiring harness for the coils and the injectors just laid up on top of the intake, because I will need to change them. And this stuff is just kind of loose and not secure. But so what I got going on is the PCV system set up. So from the passenger side valve cover, I left this hose long because I'm not sure if I'm going to route it around and under like that, or maybe make something shorter. So I just kind of made this for now just so I can get the concept together. But so this will go into the catch can, and then from the catch can, it runs to the back of the intake. And then for my fuel system, I've got a bulkhead fitting over here, and then this goes to one side of the regulator, and then from the other side to the fuel rail, which this line is going to run like pretty much secured to the front of the electric fan. So when it's all said and done, it'll be secured right to the electric fan when that's in. So it'll come from here into the rail, and then to make it a return style, since this isn't a return style initially, this is the return line that runs along and then back down the length of the car. And then aside from that, I've got my vacuum block set up there. I started doing these things when I was doing stuff with my Turbo S10. Is these push lock lines. It's like a nylon tube. And you just push them in, and then to get them out, you just kind of push that and pull them out. But I like the way they look. I threw a little grommet in here, and yeah. I'll have a 3/8 feed line, and then 1/4 inch. One will go to the fuel pressure regulator, one to the map sensor, and then one for the air conditioning. I'm gonna have to throw a plug in that one. Outside of that, here looks a mess because I got this one harness that I gotta pull. I'm probably gonna pull this one back through because it's not used for anything. So I just have it folded right here, and it's just in the way. But I need to get the what the hell's this thing called? accumulator. I got to get the accumulator and mock it up. I will have to make some custom hoses since now the AC is over here, but not really too big of a deal. I found a kit on Amazon that should work pretty well, so I'll have to get the get all the stuff in for the HVAC, and then I can set that up. And then plus I got to hook up the heater hoses, which I've got the 2 fittings installed. There's the one tube, and then the other one's down here. And so those will get run to the heater core. Like I said, it looks like a rat's nest for now, but once I get everything ran and then start securing some of these hoses and ties and stuff, you know, I've ran them in a way so I can secure them together, secure them to the strut tower, or secure them to some sort of sheet metal around the engine bay. And then it should start to fit real nice. Anyway, guys, that's where we're at right now. Once the engine kind of went in, I mean, it's going to start flying. There's a lot of small things I got to do to tighten up, and I still got to get the transmission in the car. But I'm also still waiting on parts. I got to get the headers, build an exhaust for it somehow, and just some little stuff, the coils, throttle body, make an intake tube for it. Not really huge things, but the you know, the big stuff, putting the motor in, took a half hour. You know, building some of these, like just these hoses, it took me, you know, half the day, because I'm kind of checking, like testing and measuring and making and all that stuff. But anyway, guys, that's it for this one. As always, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you on the next one.